All right.
We're good to go. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to week number 2 of the Q&A with Chris. We're coming at you every single week with 30 minutes of questions or answers to questions that you might have. We're both live on Twitter and also YouTube, so you can watch it wherever. And go ahead and type your questions in, and they'll pop up. And Cody, who is here with me,
Hi, how you
so
doing, Chris? How you
there you
doing,
go.
Voyagers?
Um, but yeah, so we wanted to do this mainly because we want to make sure that there's always an opportunity to ask me a question and I'll be able to answer it. So Cody does have a list of questions that people asked throughout the week. You're more than welcome to ask questions throughout the week, but the questions that will be prioritized will be the ones that are, for the people here watching live. And you could ask both either on X or Twitter X or whatever we call it nowadays, or in the YouTube chat, and we'll pop them up and I'll ask the questions. Cody, are we gonna do any giveaways today?
Yes. Let me see what I got cooking here in the old wallet here. All
Really enjoyed
right.
it. Last week we did a giveaway. We gave away an NFT for the best question asked, and we should probably do that again this week. Um, Cody,
How
what do you
about
have in
how about
your
we
wallet?
how about we give away ephemera? I think that's how you pronounce it. We
Yes.
give one of those away.
The psychedelic NFTs that's were created. A very hand drawn one of one NFTs launched on Void during the Void NFT games. Those are fun ones and be a good one to win. So, like I said, ask any questions if you'd like. If not, we're going to get going. And we didn't only do this 30 minutes, so that if you do watch a recording, you know that you only have to listen to me for 30 minutes, and we'll do it every single week. To start off,
All
first
right.
question.
First question is, what kind of deaths would you like to see on Void? Like, in a more long term kind of sense is what I thought about this. Like in the grand scheme of things, like what would you like to see the community build per se? Not
Yeah.
not so much, not so much our own personal vision, but someone else built it.
So, well, first off, it's very important to have the base applications down for blockchain. So this is your DeFi apps, so your AMMs, your different flavors of AMMs, your lending platforms, your bridges, all of that stuff. And it's also very important to have the NFT side of things, the marketplaces and the atomic swaps and the auctions and the launch pads and everything for NFTs. And I'd also like to see the NFTs themselves start to get more creative. The Envoy, we have the ARC 72, which is a programmable NFT so that you can add extra functionality into the NFT itself. And I'd like to see more people do that. But that's the obvious answers. That's the ones that we'd like to see right away. Keep on building. We have a lot of these already. We have the AMMs and NFT launchpads and everything. But in the longer term, I believe it's very important for blockchains to have an identity. Like go after a single market rather than saying we are the next internets, because as ambitious as that is, and everything that Voy of course is that it can be the next internets, but your go to market, your 0 to 1, needs to be much more focused. And the industry that I believe is ripe for the taking at the layer 1 level is the like community infrastructure. This is like our membership infrastructure. This is like membership management. So think about gyms and clubs where they're spending lots and lots of money every year on pretty much decentralized or identity or be like membership and entities, and those things could easily be turned into NFTs and be a huge market right away, but also loyalty points. One of the things that actually a lot of people don't understand with loyalty points is that it's more than just providing the points that you could use at the store. The loyalty point industry itself is a multi-billion dollar industry that things like airlines, which would love to get airlines in using blockchain, but the the loyalty points businesses of airlines are actually more valuable than the airlines themselves. There's actually a lot of really cool YouTube videos out there that explain this, but I believe that blockchain gives the power of this loyalty point um, applications to many more industries. Because right now, to do it well in Web 2, it costs so much money to be able to keep everything track, make sure that there's no double spending, pretty much everything that the blockchain does. And being able to actually provide that value to the the restaurant chains or even just like the smaller things, being able to actually the my liquor store recently implemented a loyalty point system and spending a lot of money on that, and putting that on the blockchain would both save them a lot of money and also give extra functionality that Web 2 just can't do unless you're a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Awesome. Couldn't agree more. Next question I got for you here is, let me get ready so I can put it on the Jumbotron. Is what kind of development hurdles do you think Web3 has to go through before it could become mainstream? Like, what needs to happen? What needs to be built out? What's being the barrier to getting these people in here?
Yeah, so for blockchain to be mainstream, the mainstream user, which is actually not, probably a lot of people aren't watching this, or myself, I'm not a mainstream user of blockchain, but for the mainstream user to fully start adopting blockchain, they need to not know that they're using blockchain. So this means that obviously the blockchain itself needs to be fast. It has to be able to process, be able to handle load. But that's a bunch of nerd stuff that's even the slower chains like Ethereum are fixing with layer 2s. But the big thing that I have yet to see fixed is the wallet situation, the actual signings of transactions, because a lot of times it's us power users are fine with having a wallet, signing a transaction, breaking the user experience of using the application, doing what I want, and then going over to my wallet and sign it. And then there's a lot of people that are solving this issue with more centralization, custodial wallets, where it's saying, okay, well, tell you what, we will handle your wallet, and you use the application like you would like. And that's not a good solution, because why are we doing blockchain? And there's other solutions I have seen with and just like where what they'll do is they'll embed a wallet into the application itself and then allow for the application to do the signings for you, which is really good user experience. But what they do is they kind of create the safety in that by separating your funds into different chunks. So your social media app that is also your wallet has its own bucket of funds, and then you'll have another application with its own bucket of funds, and then you have to manage all of that. And that's not really good, because like I don't know about you, but I always forget about applications and that I'm either not using more. If I had to actually remember how much funds are in each thing, that's not a really good solution there either, especially if it costs a good amount of money to transfer funds in and out of these wallets. Now, what we're proposing at Voy is what we call Voy ID. It's kind of a blend of all of these features that people use. It's embedded wallets, so it's a good user experience. But rather than those embedded wallets having funds in them, what they have is they have a delegated signing rights to a centralized wallet. When I say centralized wallet, I don't mean like a centralized custodial wallet. I mean like a hub and spoke model, where you'll have all of your funds and everything in one location, and your embedded wallet can only do signings that you've given permission to. So say, for example, Starbucks adopts Voy. You have your Starbucks points, and you install you sign into your Voy ID. When you sign up for your Voy ID, it says, well, what kind of rights do you want? You say, okay, this app can use as many Starbucks points as it wants, and maybe 10 Voy a week. And as long as it stays within those requirements, it can sign that all day long, as much as you want, as long as it stays with the requirements. As soon as it stops, it jumps out of that application and then goes into your central for that extra approval. So I believe it's something like this is what's required for mainstream. They can't know that they're using blockchain because as soon as they do, it's behavior change and they're no longer going to be happy. One reminder: if you just jumped in, this is open Q&A. So if you have any questions, please ask questions in the chat, either on Twitter or YouTube.
Yes, and you could win a free NFT. So there's no
can.
harm in foul. I mean, you just can't lose. But I do got another question here for you, Chris, and that is, how did you meet all the co-founders of Voy?
Well, the core team of Voy. So how this all worked out is at first I started talking to Gov about my ideas, my frustration with just blockchain in general, where was not happy that of the big spending to like a lot of weird things and a lot of like power that was centralized and VCs and large holders owning most of the chains, and really frustrated. I'm like talking about how to fix that. And I've known Gov before Voy because he was very big in the Algorand ecosystem. Talked to him quite a bit, even before Voy was an idea. So I known him before that. But yeah, it was just overall really good guy. Like talking to him, like hanging out in spaces. Really knew he truly cared about crypto. So much so that he's teaching other people about it. Always there to really kind of help other people on board. And I met him through the Algorand ecosystem. Then the second person would be Benny. Benny, I met a while ago when he came over. He actually found me. I met him through Reach. His company was looking into a way to build a payment solution on it's actually Algorand, but also on Ethereum. And he saw that he had a big problem of like having to write an application and launch both on Ethereum and also Algorand. So he saw Reach as a solution to that. We helped him build it out and be successful. And I met him there, and I gave him guidance with running that, and then we just became friends, and that's how I met him. And then Shanti, who the final founder, met her. She was actually an intern for Reach many moon ago when Reach was very, very young, and she grew. She ended up taking on more and more leadership positions at Reach, and she came over to Voy from Reach.
All right. Well, I do got a question here from Chud.
Wonderful.
Chud says, "Can you give me an example of what an elevator pitch for Voy would be?" He wants to help promote to people, but he has a hard time expressing a good pitch to others.
Awesome. I'm laughing at the question, the next question that Gov just asked. But I won't get to that one right now. But so this question for Chud, the best way to that I elevator pitch is I talk about that the store of value of blockchain is not in the technology. The large majority of all technology in blockchain is actually open source and free for anybody to use. The value, the store of value, really is the community, the people using the blockchain. And if the ecosystem is the store of value, but most of the money is spent on the technology, there is a big issue, separation in where the values and like the incentives are lied. So Voy is a blockchain that is community first, where the true value is, with the idea that blockchain is more sustainable and more successful when the community, the people putting value into the network, are the ones that actually own the network. And so that's kind of like the elevator pitch to get people going. The other thing that you can really do is ask them if they're okay with over 75%, a lot of times over 90% of the entire tokens held by 1% of the wallets. Most people say no to that because nobody's really happy with that. And most blockchains are that way. So Voy's trying to solve this issue through decentralization, through being a fair distribution, to make sure that the people that are actually that own the chain are the ones putting value into the chain. I hope that's a good elevator pitch.
I think that was a great elevator pitch, Chris. But now let's get to a good question here by Gov, gov.voy.algo. Chris, when will the Voy Foundation get formed?
Well, that's a good question, Gov. Shame on you for not knowing. Just kidding. Of course he knows. It's a leading question, if you will. The reason why this is so we are not the Voy Foundation. The core team is not the foundation. We are not the ones going to launch the chain. We're not the ones that are going to release the token. The foundation, which is a Cayman entity, per regulations, are the ones that are actually going to be managing the treasury, and there'll also be I believe, a BVI entity that we launch in the token. Now, the reason for this is to actually make sure that it follows as much regulation as possible, make sure that we're doing everything correct. When will a Voy Foundation get formed? I was just sent a screenshot of the certificate of the Voy Foundation being formed about 10 minutes ago. Wait, yes, about actually 20 minutes ago at this point. So it is formed. It has its own independent directors, and it's now fully running, which is beyond exciting. I just say, boy, it's a long journey. Prove out the theory, prove out the idea, convince independent people to actually to launch it correctly within regulation. It's been great. And so when now, I guess, is the answer. Thanks, Gov.
Right now.
Yeet, you said hi. Hello, Yeet. Thanks for showing up. And Chud said thank you. I really do hope that's a good elevator pitch that you could use. In my experience, elevator pitches actually really suck. Mainly because you can't really connect with anybody. The best way to really connect with anybody when you're talking about Voy is understanding why they got into blockchain, really understand who you're doing. An elevator pitch is a lot of talking. Really, when the best way to connect people is to listen, understand what they want or what they think, and actually answer their questions, answer what they really what makes them tick. And that's what I do a lot. So when I talk to new people, find out why they get into blockchain, ask them if they actually care about decentralization or the potential of blockchain, or are they flipping tokens of dogs with hats on it or whatever. It's a different conversation with both ways, but understanding your audience is super, super important.
All right. And I just want to remind everyone, you can ask questions on, X, Twitter, or YouTube, and you can win a free NFT just for asking a question.
We have a poker game going on right now. And it's that people can actually win via the Womp Crew. So shout out to the Womp Crew. I think that's where a lot of people are right now is playing that. So good luck on that. But for all the people watching, I hope it's in the background and you're listening to what I say.
All right. Chud actually has another question here. He goes, with the snapshot happening at the start of May, have you all decided on what the ratio for Voy and Via for the release of mainnet?
Excellent question. So yes, so the first phase of the incentivized testnet is going to be complete at the end of May. The goal of that was to bring in the missionaries, if you will, the strong foundation of core believers of Voy needing to exist and to be successful. And we're extremely successful at that. So we end up getting 900 independent nodes running, several applications that are built from scratch, a very active community, all of that great, amazing things. And we are going to end it on May 1st as a success. The question of have you decided is incentivized testnet. So what was decided and declared the entire time is that the phase one is a game that you're playing, and your goal, your point system is how much Voy and Via, which are two different types of tokens, that you collected over this amount of time. At the end of the game, the amount of points scored will determine a airdrop that you would receive upon mainnet decided by the appropriate party. That being decided, it's not up to me to decide what the actual amount is. It's not up to the core team. This is part of the whole going through the proper process of getting the foundation set up, and they will be the ones making these decisions, the independent directors and everything. So it's not up to me to make that decision, but now that the foundation is formed, this is one of the first things that they will do, and they should, or like one of the first priorities they should do, and they should announce this soon.
Awesome and exciting news there. Next question I got for you is, who is your favorite community member of Voy?
Wow. Who's my favorite community member? Oof.
You gotta pick one, just one that always that you just like. I can rely on that guy. He's there. You know what I'm saying?
There's
He's
so many
always
people that I can rely on. Like so many developers that have been putting their blood, sweat, and tears, their like all of their free time in building stuff, which is
all right.
amazing.
All right, we'll leave this one non-developer because last
Non-developer.
last time I asked you who's a developer, you admire. So we'll leave this one non-developer, like
I'm
DJ.
gonna say Scotty.
Scotty.
I think
I love
Scotty.
Scotty.
That's close though. Like Haruf is up there. As much effort. Many of the actual governance members. Yeah, I would say Scotty though. Wilder is up there. Wilder has put up tons and tons of work. Boy, yeah, probably between Wilder and Scotty. Yeah, tomato. Scotty's watching this. All right, Scotty for sure. Since Wilder's probably not watching this. Watch now. Wilder's gonna do a tomato next.
All right. All right. I got another question here for you. And remember, you guys need to ask a question and you win an NFT. All right. Just going to remind you again right here. Win that NFT because right now Chud is winning. All right. He's 100% winning. Like there's no reason to draw. But my next question for you here, Chris, is
hey, Cody, do you know what Chud is from?
No.
It's from like an 80s horror movie. I don't know if that's where they got the name from, but it's like a really like low budget 80s horror movie.
I love low budget 80s horror movies, so I'm going to take a look at that now, just so I can understand the reference. But my next question for you here is, can you explain investors' reactions when you say you're trying to fix Web3?
Oh, man. Doubt and eyes rolling usually is the initial reaction if I don't previously know them, of course, and so really kind of talking to them about, really launching a new layer one. Let's being very straightforward with all of you. Everyone, why would you launch another layer one? Is like I've been asked that so many times. And like within 5 minutes of them asking it, me answering it, they're like, yeah, this is a great idea. Every single time. Because like there's so many L1s out there. They're like, why would you do this again? Why would you do another L1? And the answer to that is number one, how I start that is, are you happy with the existing ones? And nobody's like, yeah, no, I'm happy. Nobody is like, and because there's problems with all of them. And so the biggest problem that I point out, which I talked about earlier, see how much time we have left, 7 more minutes, is that when the large majority of all chains are owned by VCs, majority of the chains are actually owned by VCs, which is a huge problem. The thing that I always really point to is that the hardest thing in the entire world to give up is power. And when you have ownership, that is power. And when things are going well, they don't want to actually give it up. They want to hold it until it gets, bigger. And the only time that they're going to let it go is when things stop going as well. And this has actually happened time and time again, not in just crypto, but it's in just history. How many revolutions has there been? And when you start centralized, when you start with a few owners, you end up and a few owners and a large majority of tokens actually handed out to a few amount of people. I think it's absolute bullshit to ever think that you can actually decentralize for that. Nobody's ever done it. It's not proven in history or in crypto. And so when I point that out and then point out our plan, what I believe that the correct plan is how to roll out tokens over a long period of time to a what I call a earned distribution. So it's the large majority of the ways to actually get the tokens is by earning it. Everyone's like, oh well, this makes sense. Well, and you have to start a new L1 to fix the economics, because you can't fix the economics of an L1 from an L2. So it's a very easy explanation there. And not only do they agree, they applaud it. And I really do believe that this is what I calling the dawn of the community chain. We're one of the first ones that actually focused most in the community, focused on not raising tons and tons of money, and giving tons and tons of ownership away, and putting the value in the hands of the people adding to the chain. If Shill myself wrote an article on Blockwork. You can search my name and you can pop it up. But this talks about like the dawn of the community chain. So I recommend reading it.
All right, and Chud gave a response to where he got Chud from. He apparently stole it from his buddy's fantasy football team name.
Well, he probably got it from the '80s movie.
All right, and also just last reminder, guys, because we're getting close to the end here. If you guys want to win a free NFT, because right now Chud's winning one. All right, because no one else is challenging his question. Okay, just got to ask a question, and guess what? You win a free NFT. So
it's a good one too.
It's a good NFT. All right,
I'm seeing here that there's actually been multiple like sequels to the Chud franchise. It's cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers is what Chud stands for.
All right. Well, I got the question here for you, Chris. What are some other blockchains you took the inspiration when designing the idea of Voy?
That's a good question. Really, the one that comes to mind is Bitcoin, obviously. The granddaddy, the idea. Like I've fought with Bitcoiners so long. I've been in crypto since 2013, so obviously I know a lot of like the OG Bitcoiners that are still banging their drums about how amazing Bitcoin is. And hey, sure, they're still winning. But at the same time, I love the idea of like how it's distributed and who owns it, and like just that ethos and like the whole idea of Satoshi's original vision. So a lot of that is baked into Voy. With like how can you do a fair launch, a ability to actually distribute the tokens as fairly as a proof of work, but keeping them proof of stake. So a lot of my ideas and everything came from that, and really kind of forcing myself to follow those beliefs. But also like Cardano. I mean, obviously Voy and Cardano technology is not anything like at all, but I truly do appreciate like they had one of the best distributions. Like if you look at their actually distribution, I think they're at like 75% of the tokens are held by that 1%. That's actually much better than most other places. Charles, he's really loud. He's in your face, but he's always available. And that's one thing I really loved about it. Like I've had conversations with Charles a long time ago. I haven't in a while, but I really like what Cardano is doing. And I think that's the other thing I really like about Cardano is that it's actually different. The EUTX model, different than account based, I think is super powerful. And I think that it will, it's going to be around for a while. So I like Cardano. And then of course, the Sylvie Macaulay, one of the smartest people I've ever actually talked to. Sweet guy. I used to actually work out of the Algorand offices, so I had a lot of good conversations with him. Love the actual technology. Obviously, the Voy tech is at this point a carbon copy of what Algorand is doing. We do want to actually separate and maybe potentially not separate. Maybe continue to keep it the same, but we do have ideas on how to actually improve it. One of the main things is actually making it even compatible. Hopefully, the Algorand tech will actually adopt those changes as well. But overall, also thinking about that. So we have 1 minute left, and there's a couple questions.
All right.
Do you want to pick
Felicia?
one?
Yeah. How can Voy succeed where Algorand has failed in terms of mass adoption? Or we go to a different one.
No. I got that. I got this.
You got
So
that?
number one, I really don't like to compare ourselves to any other chain. I think it's toxic. It's it's saying that they're doing it wrong, and when the truth is like we are so early, we have no idea who's doing it right and who's doing it wrong. We're just doing it differently. The big thing here that we are doing it differently is, like I said, focusing on community first, making sure that the strong foundation that we do respect and we believe and give support to those power users, as well as the mainstream users. So dividing the market up to two different groups, giving them both respect that they deserve, and also fixing actually having really strong economics. Make sure that there is actually a slower distribution over time. Make sure that it's not majority owned by VCs. We do a lot of things like this, but at the same time, I really don't want to compare ourselves to Algorand or actually any other chain and saying that they're doing it wrong, because they might be right. And we just believe that we are going to do it differently. But it's 7:30.
All right. So we had two people ask questions. I'm not going to count Gov. So we had Felicia and Chud. Who do you think gave the best question out of the two?
I think Chud did.
Chud. All right. Well, Chud, congratulations.
Right,
you won an NFT, sir. Yay!
Yay! That's a good one too. The cool thing about it is because it's ARC-72, well, you don't have to worry about opt-ins or anything of that sort. Just just give Cody your wallet address and he will send it over. Your Voy wallet address, of course.
All right.
Rigged. It is rigged. But it's been 30 minutes. We're hard stopping. We're going to be doing this every single week. Even if I'm not available for somebody else to do the Q&A, it'll be a fun change of pace. But we want to make sure that we are here every single week to answer questions that do pop up. And so you can expect it. So please subscribe. Do that to bell notifications so you get notified when things come up. And I hope to see you here every week.
Yeah,
and I hope more people have questions
next week. Yeah, maybe in the morning time next time. I think we agreed on 9 a.m. next time, so we can get
100%.
All right, all right. Well, appreciate everyone for watching. Remember, we love you. We wouldn't be without you guys, because Voy is everything, guys, and you guys are everything. We do this for y'all. Without y'all, this would be nothing. So thank you all.
I hope you like my new haircut, like that.
Yeah. What about the algo walks? She asked about that. At the end. We'll say that next time.
Sorry, we're out of time for questions. Out of time for questions.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Good night.
Bye, everybody.